Nah, cabin fever, don't know her. The only fever I'm getting is in my loins for my cabin. What's up, witches? It's Claudia here, and I have some exciting news. Finally, we have created a Patreon. So you can find us at patreon.com/truecrimecovenpod. At the moment, there is only one tier. It's the familiar tier, and it's just where you can chuck us £1 just to help keep us going every month. We aim to expand on this and create new tiers and exciting content. But for now, if you'd like to support us in this way, please do go ahead. That's patreon.com/truecrimecovenpod. Enjoy the episode, guys.
What's up, witches?
Hi, I'm Claudia.
And I'm Jess.
And welcome to True Crime Coven.
I was about to say hello to you, but then you moved your camera and I couldn't see you. But I can see you again. Hi, Claudia.
Hello, hiya, sorry. Why did I choose to do it at that moment?
I don't know. I like the way that you waved at me as well. And then you waved and then you were like, oh, hi, I need to speak.
Oh, yeah. I forgot what we were doing here, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Oh, God, I'm so tired, sorry. It's fine, I'll bring the energy, I'll bring the vibes and the moods and the boo.
All the vibes, all the moods. How have you been? Obviously, you say you're tired.
When do I not say I'm tired though? I think we could probably make a compilation of me going, I'm tired. I'm tired.
I mean, I feel like I always say I'm tired, but I do feel particularly tired today. I've had a very busy weekend.
Yeah, I mean, oh my God, there's a yawn. I switched from a day shift on Sunday to a night shift, which is absolutely apparently the right thing to do, because apparently the day was like, went from having a really low amount of patients in the department to having over 70, which actually when I started would have been a good day.
Yeah.
But it's been quite nice at work recently. And then
Don't
last
jinx
night,
it.
I know. And then last night it dwindled down again to like a really nice amount of people in the department. So apparently I definitely did the right thing, changed to a night shift.
Yeah, that's always good to know.
Yeah, I'm just tired because
you worked all night.
I worked all night. I have slept all day.
She likes to sleep all day.
But it does hit different when you work all night.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, I'm just tired because obviously we both went to uni at 6 on Friday.
We did. I'm surprised we found each other at the crowd. I'm quite
I know, you were like, oh, I'm to the left of like the sound bit. And I was like, oh my God, me too. And then I turned around and you were there. And I was like, oh, hey.
Hello.
Hello. And then Saturday I judged a cheerleading competition all day. Which was fun.
I don't even know what I did Saturday. Oh, full disclosure, because it's okay not to be okay. I had a depression day on Saturday.
Fair enough.
I just played Sims and watched Sims.
Sometimes you need those days. I mean, I love a Sims day.
Yeah, my mental health definitely isn't very good at the moment.
No.
And I am taking steps to help that by contacting therapists.
I genuinely thought you were going to be like, I'm taking steps to help that by regularly playing The Sims. And killing my enemies. Sorry.
Yeah, I keep making people in The Sims I don't know. It's not a healthy way. Actually, it sounds like quite a healthy way, I think. But actually, no one's upset me.
Okay.
You know, sometimes you're just not okay because
that's fine.
your brain does a sad.
It's fine to not have a reason to have a mental health day.
So, yeah, you know, watch the space. Hopefully I'll get some therapy.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's all
and on
good.
that note, let's talk about ghost stories and not about my mental health.
So yeah, we're coming in with some ghost stories today.
Hot and fresh off the press.
Hot and fresh off the press. So my friend Jules has sent me another ghost story.
Yeah.
But this is the last one she sent me.
Also, tomorrow is Pancake Day and Valentine's Day.
I know, I thought that. Wait, is it pancake
No, it's
day
not. No,
tomorrow?
that's next Tuesday, isn't it?
sure.
Yeah. Oh, I got
Yeah.
to be excited. I still got to eat pancakes whenever I want. I don't need a day for it.
I know. Because
Every day is pancake day if you really try.
I'm really confused because normal half terms are this week, but my sister's school's half term is next week. So all my baby classes are taking a week as well. Taking a week off this week as well. But they had their Valentine's Day parties last week.
Oh, okay.
Which I think was a bit premature. And they were like, oh, dress your baby up for Valentine's Day. And I was like, I'm sorry, but like, fuck, am I going out and buying a Valentine's Day outfit for my baby who is going to wear it once?
I mean, she can wear it tomorrow. She can wear it whenever.
Yeah,
it's hearts, Jess. It's hearts.
Yeah, but also she's in 0 to 3 months and she's almost grown out of it. So, Jules's last ghost story. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And thank you, Jules.
The last story is my most recent and only happened a few months ago. We were spending the night at Glenn's parents' house, and as we were sleeping, I was being woken every hour. Not exactly on the hour, but close enough. What woke me was Glenn talking in his sleep, which isn't unusual for him. So although it was annoying, I was able to go straight back to sleep each time he woke me up. The next morning, I asked him how he'd slept, ready to do the whole, you were talking in your sleep again and it woke me up, blah blah blah. But to my surprise, he said, not very well, as you kept me up all night with your sleep talking. Now, I have never talked in my sleep. It's just something that I've never done. I had to drive home in 2 days, but I couldn't sleep in that bedroom again, as I knew I wouldn't be able to drive home if I was this tired. Luckily, my mum lives close to his parents, so I decided to spend my last night with her to get a good night's sleep before having to drive home. Glenn's parents told me that the ghosts seem to ramp up in the activity when I'm there for some godforsaken reason. Due to the lack of sleep and all the creepy stuff that's happened, I've decided that I can no longer stay at their house, and I will be staying at my mum's from now on. Sorry that this will probably be my last ghost story, but if anything else does happen, or if I remember anything else, I will let you know.
I want to know what was talking to Glenn, Jesus, right, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. So obviously she thought it was him talking, he thought it was her talking. But it was obviously
so it was no one. I didn't make that connection.
Yeah.
Shit.
So yeah, I don't know what was talking or who was talking to either one of them.
But they need to talk to the hand. Because Jules ain't listening.
Yeah. Stop waking me up while I sleep, which I would find really annoying personally.
Yeah, like, you know what? You chat to me during the day.
Yeah, like I do think all of hers do have a similar theme of like a lot of it happens in his bedroom at night when the ghosts feel like they're being ignored and they're doing something to get attention.
Yeah.
So it does all seem to be similar, but
I feel like maybe it's something that can be worked through then, because they're clearly trying to just get someone's attention, hopefully to tell them something.
Yeah, maybe. And I feel like as well they're slightly different ghosts each time, because she hasn't mentioned the lavender again. That seemed to be one ghost touched her and now another one's speaking. So
yeah, true.
Unless it, as you said, it's a very powerful ghost that can do a little bit of everything.
Little bit of this, little bit of that.
Little bit of this.
Yeah, I wonder if it could all be stopped if they did get a medium in. I'm not like advocating that because I know very little about it and I don't know if that would help at all. But I wonder if there is something that like there is at least one restless spirit that very much
they could do.
Just need someone. Maybe they're like, listen to me and I can then go. I need to find the light. Where is the light? Also, I wonder why they're attracted to Jules. Maybe she's got a gift that she doesn't realise she's got.
Yeah, maybe. Or I know that obviously she takes her daughter. I think her daughter either starts school this September or she started last September, so she's that kind of age. So I don't know whether it is because obviously children do have a little bit more awareness of ghosts
Like
and
they're more
things.
perceptive.
Yeah, so I don't know whether it's Jules or maybe whether it's her daughter or maybe a little bit of both.
Could be a little bit of both. Could just be females.
Yeah, could be. Could be anything. Who knows?
Well, I'm afraid, Jules, actually, she's going to need to continue going because I need updates.
Yeah,
and,
maybe we can ask her if we can check out this house ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good. We'll come and check it out. We know nothing, and we'll do a paranormal.
Yeah, sure. We'll get some ghost hunting equipment.
Yeah, let's use her as a guinea pig.
Yeah.
A guinea ghost.
A guinea ghost.
Guinea ghost.
Because at least we're going somewhere we know is definitely haunted. So
Exactly, and at least one's a little old lady, and they love me, actually.
Do
Despite,
they?
you know, how I look, they love me. So
because you're a friendly character.
yes. Not because I like things that a lot of elderly people like, i.e. sitting around all day watching TV, eating chocolate.
Drinking cups of tea and eating biscuits.
I love tea and biscuits.
Same.
But honestly, I'm one of those people who can happily sit in front of the TV all day and do nothing. You know, people are like, I need to be active, I need to be moving, I need to go to the gym. I'm like, why?
No. I can do a bit, but it really depends what mood I'm in.
Oh no, honestly, like people are like, I haven't been out the house in days, I'm getting stir crazy. I can happily, like when I had COVID, no problem.
Oh really?
Absolutely fine.
Okay, yeah, no. I can do it for a
I
day.
can stay in the house
but then,
and never leave, and I'm happy.
Yeah, I can stay in the house for like a day, and then I'll get a bit like, oh, I've got to get out and do something.
Nah, cabin fever, don't know her. The only fever I'm getting is in my loins for my cabin.
After that wonderful ghost story, I say, do you want to move on to the cryptid? But it's not really a cryptid this week.
Okay. Well,
So after the absolute rabbit hole of fairies and fae from, I was going to say last week, but it wasn't, just 2 weeks ago, my last episode, I wanted something that was a little bit shorter, a little bit different. So I've gone for, well, almost a strange twist of events, but I'm actually bringing you a true crime story.
oh, okay. That's actually my job, Jess, and we need to have a meeting after this, I'm afraid.
I don't think you'd look into it properly because it is very, very, very quick. So, and I actually came across this because my friend sent it to me because it was like being shared around as like a funny thing.
Oh.
And initially when I looked at it, I laughed as well. And then I actually looked into it properly. And was like, actually, it's quite horrible and brutal. So,
Okay.
thought
I have
would
no
bring it
idea
to
how
the table.
to react to that, to be honest with
I
you.
know.
So.
I think when I start talking about it, you'll see why it was going round as like a comic skit thing. But why is actually quite horrible. So there is a bit of a trigger warning for this. I'm going to still go with cryptid today. So a little bit of a trigger warning of sexual assault. So if that's something that you can't listen to, maybe just skip ahead to the end of this bit. And then, yeah, join us for the last ghost story or join us next week.
Look after yourselves.
So I don't know if you saw it as it was going round, but it's about the case of Whipping Tom.
No,
Okay, so
I don't think so.
Whipping Tom was a sexual predator who was prevalent in London in 1681. So quite a while ago, hence why I didn't think you would cover this particular case. But he was notorious for attacking people in alleys and dimly lit courtyards, especially in the areas of Fleet Street, Strand and Holborn.
Pronunciation. Facts with Claudia.
Holborn.
Is it Holborn?
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm just like reading that as it comes.
Holborn.
I said Holborn.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Just
Not-
over a stone
not
in me.
Holborn.
Holborn.
Especially in the areas of Fleet Street, Strand and Holborn.
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 Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said Holborn.
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 Like Melbourne.
Yeah.
Rather than Melbourne.
Oh, there's no E on it.
Yeah, just trust me.
Okay. Especially in the areas of Fleet Street, Strand and Oh, fuck's sake. I can't not.
Shall I just say the last one?
Hole. For some reason, I keep going for hoe. I got hose on the brain. And Holborn. I can't say it, not Bristolian.
Okay, just
Holborn.
say it again.
Holborn. That's really hard.
Like your hole has burnt. No, but it's not burnt.
It's really hard to say with a Bristolian accent.
Okay.
Holborn.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, is that better? Okay.
Pronunciation. Facts with Claudia.
Especially in the areas of Fleet Street, Strand and Holborn. He would hide in the shadows and prey on lone women. When he was sure that they were alone, he would jump out at them, lift up their skirt, give them a hard slap on the bum, shout "Spanko," and then disappear. So...
Okay. So I see why it was a joke, but then also we've got to think about the time. This is equivalent to someone... I mean, it is obviously, like, not nice anyway if that happened now.
Yeah.
But this is equivalent to someone in an alley groping you.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, if someone did that now, then they would definitely go to prison.
Oh, mate, I told you when I saw you at Uni at 6 that a guy came up to my friend Becky and just touched her back randomly. And then I was like, and then walked, and his like friend pushed him away. And then I like shouted after him, like, why are you touching random women? And I know a lot of people be like, he only touched her back. And it's like, yeah, but why?
Yeah, he didn't.
Like, would he go up to a man and touch her back? Like, it's the same way I don't agree with women going up and pinching guys' asses. Like,
yeah, like, you just shouldn't.
Like, just don't touch people without their consent.
Yeah. So obviously I think it went round because it was the whole like he'd slap them on the bum, shout "Spanko," and then run away. But then actually when you look into what he did, it does get a little bit more dark. So sometimes he would repeatedly spank women, and occasionally he would use a rod as well as his hands. And in some horrific instances, he would actually like take the woman, lay them across his knee, and then spank them.
And the whole thing is he's obviously getting off on this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really weird. Obviously, what he was doing was quite horrific, and it did leave some women with serious injuries, as you can imagine if he's using a rod.
Yeah, and psychological injuries.
Yeah, and so obviously fear began to spread amongst women, especially when no one was able to identify him because he was so quick at disappearing. So no one could give the police...
Also, you're so taken by surprise, aren't you? That you're like, when you're in a panic, you don't really have the best recollection. Like, it's like if you ask most people to describe any sort of like mugging or even stuff like when people are in car accidents, even if they don't hit their head, they often can't describe it because it's just all like, whoa.
Yeah. So people weren't able to like give a description of what he looked like, who he was. So the police just weren't able to catch him. And obviously back in the day, like you think, when did I say this was? Like 1681? Yeah. Police aren't like, there was no such thing as like forensic evidence back then. So people started to lose faith in the police, obviously, that they weren't going to catch him. So women decided that they were going to start carrying weapons. So people would often walk around with like pen knives, pocket knives, and scissors, just in case they got attacked, so that they could fight back if they needed. And some men even dressed up as women to try and lure Whipping Tom into attacking them, in hopes that they would be able to overpower him and catch him.
Yeah, I think also though they underestimate how much being in shock makes you. When someone takes you by surprise, they've got the element of surprise.
Yeah.
So when someone just comes up and does that to you, you think you might react straight away by like grabbing them and slamming them against the floor or whatever, or overpowering them. But actually, I think you're more likely to just be like, what the fuck? And then they've gone before you realise.
Yeah, especially if it is dark. Like, he purposely was hanging out in alleyways and courtyards because they were dark. They weren't well lit. He could get away with it.
You could just imagine the headlines now, like people like blaming women like for hanging around in
Yeah, dimly lit
dark
places.
places.
But yeah,
So
so
how far we've come.
yeah. So obviously because no one could seem to identify him, and as you said, they were caught off guard, feeling shocked, and he disappeared so quickly. Some people actually started to believe that he was some supernatural being. So he would literally pop up.
Sounds too good for him.
Yeah, spank someone and then vanish. But I think these were very quickly shut down because, well, eventually he was caught.
Oh, good.
So eventually, in late 1681, 2 men were arrested, a local haberdasher and his friend. However, all of the records for this case have unfortunately, why can I not speak?
I don't know, mate.
Have unfortunately been lost over time. So I actually couldn't find anything on their names, if they had a motive, or whether or not they were actually convicted, and justice was served. But I did find somewhere that described it was basically like a historical scripture thing. So it was actually like newspapers from the time, and they had reported that these attacks were evil pranks.
Yeah, but a prank's meant to be funny.
Exactly.
And it sounds like no one was laughing except for them, and that's not a prank.
Yeah. But then I also did find something else, which was from a little bit earlier. So it was 1677, where a man named Thomas Sadler was hanged for notorious pranking. So part of me is like, he potentially could have got hung for this.
I know that name, and I can't think why I know Thomas Sadler's name.
Apparently he was a famous thief.
I really know that name.
Yeah.
I must have listened to something.
So something else.
I've listened to so much, to be honest.
But also it's not like it's not a common name, but it's not like an uncommon name either. So
Oh yeah, I know. I work
could
with someone
just
whose last
be-
name's Sadler. But,
yeah, it could just be a
it's-
coinky dink.
No, I'm pretty sure I know this name.
Okay. So yeah, we don't actually know what happened to him, but if someone else was hung for thieving and being a prankster, then potentially could have got hung, but obviously that's just a theory.
Yeah.
So obviously that's where you think that the story might end. Mm-hmm. But you would be wrong. Because strangely, in 1712, Whipping Tom makes a second appearance.
It could be the same guy, couldn't it?
Well, could be the same guy. And the records were actually slightly better kept for this second period of time.
Okay.
So this time he was more based on Birch Road in Hackney, or near Hackney, and he reportedly assaulted 70 women in 2 months. However, this time he was quickly caught, and he was named as Thomas Wallace.
Okay.
And he quickly confessed to the crimes and claimed that he was... Now, this is taken directly from his confession, so it is like old language. It doesn't 100% make sense in modern day speak. But he said that he was resolved to be revenged on all the women he could come at after the manner for the sake of one purged female who had been barbarously false to him.
Okay, so basically one woman wronged him.
Yeah.
So all women are evil.
Yeah.
So he's a bit of an incel.
Yeah, pretty much as you said, one woman wronged him, so he took that as, I should go and beat as many women as possible.
Wow. It's good to see times have changed once again.
I know. Well, that's another reason why I wanted to cover this, because I'm like, I mean, there's so many, it's so relevant to what's happening
It really
today.
is.
So he actually got caught before he could fulfill his whole plan, because he had admitted to assaulting and beating 100 women by Christmas. And his plan was to break for the whole 12 days of Christmas. and then carry on his twisted mission.
Who did he admit it to?
I'm assuming the police.
Oh, okay, so they just caught him and then...
Yeah. However, it's not actually reported anywhere what happened to him. It's just that he confessed.
Hopefully something horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just that he confessed. But it is not thought that he was the original whipping Tom, because obviously 30 years apart. And it's thought that he was just a copycat because he only admits to committing the later ones in 1712. Yeah. And I'm like, if you're going to confess, you're going to confess to all of them.
Yeah, you'd think.
Yeah. So that is everything on whipping Tom. So as you can, like,
so
as
both
you said,
pieces of shit, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. As you can see, like, you can see why that's, people kind of took that as a bit of funny, because when you see the initial headlines, it is like, oh, 17th century man slaps women, shouts Spanko and runs away. And you're like, haha, that's funny. But actually, when you're like, oh, he lifted up their skirt, beat them with a rod, caused some serious injuries, you're like, actually.
And also just like in general, like it's not nice. And also I think people need to remember that like
it's still sexual assault.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that it was being shared around as a funny thing that happened, made me want to cover it more.
Yeah.
To be like, actually, we're laughing at this, but if that happened next week, would it be funny? Absolutely not.
Yeah, exactly.
And the fact that it happened, 300 years ago, roughly, like, it shouldn't be less funny.
Yeah. No, it really shouldn't. That's the thing.
Yeah, so that's why I wanted to cover it. I know it's a bit of a different one this week,
but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I think it works on our feminist theme.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you have to be a feminist to stand up for women, though. I would say everyone is a feminist. Yeah, but, like, you know, let's be honest, we're both feminist witches over here.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought a good one because it's also a crime one. It's not necessarily a murder, but it goes in with our crime week.
Yeah.
Very historical.
Yes.
And yeah, a little bit different.
Well, I appreciate it. I think it's time for our third ghosty.
Third and final ghosty story.
Do you need to go get your child?
Yeah, I might just go get Orla and give Aidan a little break.
Fair.
So this one was sent in to us by Indigo. She sent us one the other day.
Yeah, I remember the fantastic name.
Yeah. So I think her story was the one about the ghosts in the attic in her old apartment. Yeah,
the ghost bus stop.
Yes, yeah.
Who you going to call? Ghost bus stop.
And I'm pretty sure she is one of Real Life Ghost Stories listeners. So
I think so as well.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on over to the dark side.
You're very welcome here.
So the title of this one is called My Ghost Cat. Oh, okay. Orla approves.
I mean, I approve of ghost cats. Always.
Me too. Okay. Many years ago, when I was in high school, we had a family cat called Socks. Socks was extremely intelligent and was a loud eater. You always knew when Socks was eating her cat crunchies. I personally have always been a night owl. Therefore, late at night, when the rest of the house is sound asleep, Socks normally came into my room to keep me company. I would sit up in bed, normally doing something like drawing or finishing my homework. She would jump up at the foot of my bed, walk up my blanket, and then lay down in between my knees. This was our routine.
Oh.
Are you watching what this baby is doing to me? Sorry, Simon.
You chose to have a child.
Yeah, her new thing is grabbing my chin and nose when she's trying to fall asleep. So, and mouth.
Aww,
so that's what
cute.
she's trying to do. Like that. Can you hold on to my thumb?
Does she just stay holding on to it while she sleeps?
No, sometimes she likes to fish hook me and then like pulls my bottom lip down.
Okay.
Hold on to my thumb. There you go. There you go. That's better, isn't it? Then, one day... Shh.
You being a shush, girl?
Then, one day, much to our family's devastation, our beloved cat Socks was killed by a car on our rural road. We couldn't find her for days, and once we finally found her, we were able to say our goodbyes and put her to rest. Fast forward a few days, and I'm in my bedroom. I hear a distinct crunching sound coming from the kitchen, as if Socks was having her cat Crunchy's dinner. Everyone else is asleep, and we do not have a new cat yet, so it had to be Socks. I smile and go about my business. A night or two later, I'm in the same position in bed reading for class. Back then, I liked my blankets to be tight even when I was in bed. It's late and something catches my attention. Much to my surprise, at the foot of my bed, I see little paw-sized indentations. I watch as the indentations walk up my blanket, and then, just as he always has done, Socks settled down and laid between my knees. It was not just that I saw the indentation, it was as if her whole body was there. I could feel the weight of my cat settle down, and I watched as the blanket sunk in where Socks would always sit and keep me company at night. I was freaked out, but not too bad, as it was just my cat. Still, the idea freaked me out. I calmly said, "Socks, I know that it is you, but you are kind of freaking me out right now." And just like that, she was gone. The weight on my blanket disappeared, and she was gone. I do now regret that, as I think it would have been cool to have a ghost cat hanging out with me every night. On the weekends, my family members would stay up late too, but we had to be exceptionally quiet in our room so that Dad could sleep. Discussing with my sisters what I had seen and heard a few days later, they too had heard the cat crunching on her food in the kitchen, though nobody else got the late night visit that I did. I should also note that the house was haunted by someone else. About 40 years before we moved in there, our house we moved into had burnt down, and it took the owner with it. That guy still haunts that house, but he stays mostly in one place, the oil and water cellar, and he doesn't venture out much. He's never really bothered anyone, but everyone knows that he's there. We can all feel him. We don't like going into that area to hang out. Not only are there spiders there, but there's also the ghost. But when your ass is hiding from a tornado that's going to potentially hit your house, hiding in the old dry water and oil cellar with a harmless ghost seems like the safer option. Side note, tornadoes, although they're awesome, they are very terrifying. Lots of love, Indigo.
Thank you, Indigo. Firstly, again, amazing name.
Yeah.
Secondly, I think having one of my cats come back as a ghost is probably my dream.
Yeah, I know what she means. Like, it would freak me out a bit, but if I told them to go away and they never came back, I would also be so upset.
It's one of those things where at the time you're like, I just want you to like go for a minute and then you can come back and you can come and go.
Yeah, once I've processed.
I can completely understand telling them to go, and then I can also completely understand regretting it. But
yeah,
I mean, we only do what we know at the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with anything. Like, when you realise that you're being haunted, I can imagine your immediate reaction is, shit, what the fuck? And then when you realise that it's your ghost, or your ghost, the ghost of your cat, or like a relative or something, it's a bit more like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have asked them to go so soon. Like,
yeah, that story makes me want to go and hug my cat as well.
Yeah. Also, just I'm sure Simon's going to do an amazing job of editing, but while reading that whole story, Orla was trying to grab my microphone, grab my face, was crying, and as soon as I finished reading it, she's fallen asleep.
Never work with children or animals, and I've got animals this side, and Jess has got children, well, child that side.
Yeah, to be fair, my animals are quite well behaved.
Yeah, I mean, my animals are normally well behaved, but they're just, you know, they will. I'm in their world.
Oh yeah, you're well behaved. They're just
living their lives
noisy
in the room that I record in, and that's not their fault. But yeah, no, Indigo also. It sounds like that old owner he's no problem. He's just chilling. I wonder why he's choosing to chill in that old cellar. Maybe that's where he hid from the fire.
Maybe he can't leave.
Yeah,
Maybe he's stuck
I would
there.
be really upset if I got stuck in a cellar because I really don't like basements and cellars.
Yeah, I mean,
think-
we've spoken about ghosts before, the UK TV series, and the ones who live in like the plague pit downstairs.
Yes.
Like, imagine that, just being in the dark, cold all the time.
At least they've got each other though.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, I would hate, because I think in the UK we don't really have basements and cellars that much.
No.
They're not in homes at least.
No,
So
maybe
I
in a
would-
really like old house. But
yeah,
a
my
lot of
mum
them
has one.
A lot of them have been converted into like flats now because they're in like old big houses.
Yeah, no, my mum has a basement,
Oh, does she?
but it's got lino floor and that makes it a little bit less creepy. But I still
Yeah.
wouldn't want to be down there.
I'd
It's
love to
really
have a
nice and cool in
basement.
summer though. But the fact that we don't really have them in the UK, I think it's like the fear of the unknown, isn't it?
Yeah, it is weird that we don't have them though.
We don't know. Well, this is the other thing. I think a lot of places in America have them because of tornadoes
Yeah, that is true.
and stuff like that. And we don't have tornadoes or earthquakes.
Do you know what's
here.
really funny though? Like, obviously, I used to work in and live above a pub, and that obviously had a cellar, as most pubs do. Wasn't creepy at all.
No?
No, not in the slightest.
I mean, I worked in a old pub, that's a Weatherspoons, in Canary Wharf in London, and that had the beer cellar.
Yeah.
And that was really creepy.
I don't know if
But
it's
then that whole
because-
pub was definitely haunted, which I think I've spoken about. So
I don't know if it's because it was quite a well lit cellar and it was quite small. So you go in one side, and then obviously like there's like the trap door where they throw the barrels in on the other side. So like a lot of light came in from that, and a lot of light came in from,
yeah.
and it was on a sensor. So as soon as you walked into the room to go down
yeah.
into the cellar, all the
That
lights came
helps.
on. So
Yeah,
you,
that
you
helps.
never had to walk into a dark cellar.
Yeah, that definitely helps.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, my nan's cellar is really creepy. Like, you could imagine
Yeah.
bad shit went down there, which it didn't, but like, it's just like literally a dirt cellar.
Yeah. Thinking about that now,
That
loads of people
floods.
did used to say that pub was haunted by a ghost called Sam, but I never experienced anything. But then it was quite a busy pub, so
Yeah.
you could explain a lot of the noises.
Yeah, I mean, the pub that I worked in was definitely haunted. But I think I've spoken about that.
Yeah.
And then the funny thing is, I think the casino that I worked in, which I'm not going to say the name of because I don't want to get in trouble. The casino I worked in, I think the basement there was haunted.
Oh, really?
And it's a very old building in the middle of London. But the basement was also the only place that ever really did get empty because it closed, whereas the rest of the casino is open 24/7.
Legal facts with Claudia.
Except on Christmas Day when it has to close because you're not allowed to gamble in the UK on Christmas Day.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
You're not allowed to gamble. So it was closed all day. It closed at midnight and then it opened up again in the evening for drinks. But obviously you can't allow people to just get drunk in a casino. So it was like open for like Prosecco-y type drinks.
Yeah.
And then you couldn't start gambling again till midnight.
Legal facts with Claudia.
But other than that, it was always obviously open and normally like busy-ish.
Yeah.
Whereas the basement actually did close.
Because the casino is a place that could be busy at all hours of the day, isn't it, really? Obviously, you've got your
Yeah.
peak times.
Yeah, I would also say even the top floor also did close, although it also had the smoking area, so it could only close kind of.
Yeah.
But the top floor closed and that never felt creepy.
But the basement
the basement did.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the toilets in the basement, though. As a member of staff, I wasn't meant to go in the public toilets. I was meant to go all the way down to the staff room, which was also in the basement. But the staff room basement wasn't creepy.
Oh, okay.
But the casino basement was creepy.
Was. I have also heard that, you know, the massive Primark in Bristol?
That's haunted.
Yeah.
We spoke about it on the episode with Weird Bristol, I think.
Yeah. So
yeah, it used to be John Lewis, didn't it? And they don't. There's two basements, and they don't use the very bottom basement.
Yeah,
because it was too haunted.
Cemented it up because it was so creepy.
But is there not something creepier about the fact that there's just ghosts in the earth?
Yeah,
Under
like it was
Primark?
like a plague pit, wasn't it? And it was a lot of like children as well.
I think so.
But also, so my friends work there, and they said that they were like, because it's such a big building, obviously they don't use all of it. Like there's so many like back bits, and there's like an entire floor right at the top where they just don't use it for anything. It's literally just stored like old broken mannequins. And
that's really creepy.
yeah,
That's something like out of Doctor Who, innit?
yeah, and they said that it's really, really creepy. Like they hate, if they ever have to go up there for whatever reason, they absolutely hate it, and they always go in like
mannequin
pairs.
up. Yeah, well, it's a good thing they're twins then.
Yeah, well, only one of them works there now.
Oh, okay, fair. And on that note,
Yeah. God, we've gone off on a bit of a tangent, haven't we?
yeah, I don't know how much Simon will keep in.
Yeah, so it's going to end up being like a 20-minute episode.
Yeah. But thank you for your stories today, Jules and Indigo. As always,
Yeah.
we do need some ghost stories, so email them over to us at truecrimecovenpod@gmail.com.
Yeah.
But other than that, guys, have a lovely pancake day tomorrow.
Valentine's.
No,
no, this is coming out next week, isn't it? Oh my
Yeah.
God. So for us, it's Valentine's Day tomorrow.
But have a
when-
lovely pancake day tomorrow.
Pancake Day tomorrow for everyone else.
If you do pancakes in any cool shapes, let us see them. I want to see ghost pancakes. I want to see
my God,
witch hat
yeah.
pancakes. I just want pancakes.
If you're like me and not artsy at all, just make a normal pancake. Or even
Just
if you
make a
don't
normal
wanna
pancake.
Even if you don't want to eat pancakes, make whatever. You do you.
Yeah, but also pancakes.
Pancakes.
And other than that, guys, stay spooky. Hey guys, if you have a ghost story or a case suggestion, please email us truecrimecovenpod@gmail.com.
You can also find us on Twitter at truecrimecoven or on Instagram and Facebook, where we are at truecrimecovenpod.
Also, it would mean the absolute world to us if you could rate us wherever you're listening to this right now, be it Spotify, Apple Music, or if you're on YouTube, give us a little thumbs up, click that bell, get notifications every time we post.
Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts from.
Make these two witches smile. Thanks, witches.
Sorry, Simon.